late.
So if I do get anything wrong, please feel free to keep it to yourselves. Starting off on our left-hand side, now we do have a stone Egyptian obelisk there, it's called Cleopatra's Needle. Cleopatra's Needle is the oldest thing that you'll see here in London today. It's even older than London itself. That needle is over 3,500 years old. They do build them in pairs. We have this one here on the left-hand side, on the Victoria embankment here in London, and the sister needle to that one. It does reside in Central Park, New York City. The bridge that is in front of the boat, it is the Waterloo Road Bridge, and it is commonly called here in London as the Ladies' Bridge. As while the men, they were away fighting in World War II, the women, they stayed behind to rebuild London. This bridge here, it was built using an 80% women workforce. They used a Portland stone to build this bridge, and it's a self-cleansing stone. So when it does rain here in London, this bridge, it will receive a thorough wash. But ladies, you will be pleased to know, it even stands now still to this day, that this bridge here is the only bridge ever to be made on time and under budget. So well done to the ladies. Over to the right, this stone building there that's got the electronic board on the front of it. It is London's National Theatre. It does get voted every year without fail as being London's most ugliest building. But as the saying goes, do not judge a book by its cover, as this building here, it does hold 3 of this city's finest theatres. The area that it's located at is the South Bank, and it's the performing arts district here in London. That's where you'll find your art galleries, your theatres and your concert halls. They have street performers there as well, and there are some lovely bars and restaurants along the South Bank. The South Bank starts at the London Eye and it ends all the way down at Tower Bridge. So over to our left, we do have the black and white ship, the St. Catherine. It was once used by the royal family as a royal barge. That is what they used to travel out on this river many years ago. As you can see, it has fallen into disrepair now, they no longer use it. They have another royal barge, it's called the Gloriana. It's a hand-painted red and gold barge. That's what you see the royal family travelling out on this river, they use the Gloriana. But the St. Catherine is their spare boat, and that's what they give Prince King Charles. You usually see him and Camilla on the front of the boat, reenacting the Titanic scenes after they've had a few. Further down now to our left, the green lines along the wall, they've got the reeds in their mouth. They were early flood boarding indicate systems here in London. So at the water level of this river, if it ever got too high, the police would use the blue box over there to the left to phone down to our London Underground system and ask people to evacuate in fear of London flooding. As As our circle district line, it runs parallel with District Hall. There have been a few rhymes that gone with these green lines over the years, and I'll share them with you now. The lions are drinking, then London, it is sinking. If the water level's up to the lion's mane, then London is down the drain. And if the lion's heads, they're completely ducked, well then London is well and truly flooded. Over to our right is the orange brick building with the tower on top. It's the Oxo Tower. Once where the famous Oxo Cube, it was once manufactured, and it's now home to the Harvey Nichols restaurant on top, which is one of the top 10 rated restaurants here in London. We have some unaffordable housing in the middle and a row of shops along the bottom. Now it is illegal to advertise on the banks of the River Thames, as it's a royal waterway. And in Oxo, they was taken to court for this matter. They said it's a complete coincidence that their branding, it ended up in that tower and doesn't being light up red. Somehow they was awarded the case, and they've had over 70 years of free advertisement here on the River Thames. We do have the construction site here to our left as well. Now I know it's not a pretty thing to look at, but it is a very important construction site here in London. This is just one of 11 sites on this river that belong to a project called the Thames Tideway Tunnel Project. And what they're doing, they're building a super sewer system here in London. For a long time, London has used a Victorian system that can only cater up to 2 billion people. And there is now close to 10 billion people living here in London. And they first, and then they rail for each second. Now in between the two bridges, you will notice there are some red columns, and they span the river from left to right. These red columns are the foundations and supports for the very first railway bridge here in London, and it was the St Paul's Railway Bridge. It was used by a steam train in connecting London, Chatham and Dover together. They took the top of it off. As modern day trains, they were just too heavy for these supports, but they haven't removed the supports in fear of upsetting the foundations of the other two bridges. As we leave the archway, the Blackfriars Railway Bridge, just over to our left, you should have a lovely photo opportunity of Sir Christopher Wren's masterpiece, and it is the St Paul's Cathedral. It stands at 365 feet tall, a foot for every day of the year. That dome is the second largest unsupported dome anywhere in the world. It took 35 years to construct that building. Now if you'd like to go visit this building, I'd recommend going on a Sunday when it's free to go watch a church service in there. And it's a very special building to go watch a church service in as well. However, I do say it's free, ladies and gents. You will get called in the end by a man standing at the exit doors with a silver tip bucket asking for donations. Whereas the church is a very quiet environment. They do encourage silent donation. And if you don't know what I mean by that, well, it's a 5, 10, 20, and if you enjoy it that much, in £50 notes in their silver tip bucket for the St Paul's Cathedral Church service. Over to our right now, we have this brown brick building here that's got the tower on top with the panes of glass. It's the old Bankside Power Station, and it is no longer used as a power station. It's now home to the Tate Modern Art Gallery, and the Tate Modern Art Gallery is the largest art gallery in Europe. It is free to enter. Go inside and have a look around. And when you do go inside and have a look around, you'll understand the reason why it is free. Over to our right, the white building that's got the timber frames and the thatched roof. It's the replica of Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. It's the only building that you'll see here in London today that's got a thatched roof. Because after the Great Fire of London, all thatched roofs, they were banned. This building here, it has been made fireproof. Now you can go see live shows in this building. The last time that we checked the tickets, they cost just £5. Which is not bad value for money for live entertainment here in the city of London. So if we do have any Shakespeare fans on board this boat today, I'd highly recommend going to the Globe Theatre, see one of his famous plays being acted out in their traditional fashion. So there is no stage lighting, there's no microphone like I'm using. There's also no toilets and umbrellas. They are banned. Now if you did want to go see a live show in that building, I do have one bit of advice for you all. That is, please check the weather before you go. Do not go on the day when it will rain, once your goods get wet. It's an open air theatre, after all. Now as we clear the archway of the Southwark Road Bridge, start to look over to your right hand side and you see a brown brick building that has got red windows, and it is the Anchor Pub. There has been an Anchor Pub on this site since 1615. Shakespeare himself, he used the attic of these pubs as a dressing room. As where they're building that new structure just over there to the right, that was where the original Globe Theatre once stood. Now the Anchor Pub is also starred in some movies during its time as well. Just to name a few, we had James Bond, Mission Impossible, and Getting to the Greek. So many famous people, they have been in that pub as well. And me and the captain included. And we'll be there at 9 o'clock this evening, conducting our research for these very commentaries. You are all more than welcome to come and join us at Suffolk Cathedral. Now, a son of a local butcher, he was baptised in this church. That's come into sight in a few short moments on your right-hand side. His name was John Harvard. He later emigrated to America. He was the founder of the Harvard University. The bridge that's in front of the boat, it is London Bridge. It's the 5th London Bridge to stand on this very site. The first one was made out of wood and built by the Romans. Previous bridges, they have fallen down, and that's where we get the nursery rhyme from. London Bridge is falling down. The previous bridge to this one, the 4th London Bridge, it started to sink into the mud. So in the 1970s, they decided to sell it. It was bought by an American businessman named Robert McCulloch. He purchased the 4th London Bridge for $2 million. It was then dismantled stone by stone, shipped over to Arizona, where it's rebuilt in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Still stands there today. On our right hand side and up, we do have the Shard. The Shard is Western Europe's tallest building. It stands in at over 1,000. Stands over at 1,000 feet tall. There is a viewing platform on the 72nd floor. The rest is made up of luxury apartments, bars, restaurants, office space, and it is also home to the 5-star Shangri-La Hotel. Each luxury apartment in the Shard has been valued between 30 and 50 million pounds. The architect of this building, he was an Italian man. His name, it was Renzo Piano. He was offered £2 million for the design of that building, which he did politely refuse. In return said, if you'd like my design, then I want the 4-bedroom penthouse apartment. And they agreed, his terms. He lived in that penthouse apartment for 2 years before selling it on to an American R&B and hip-hop producer, will.i.am, for a reported £47 million. Over to our left, the stone building has got the 6 black chimneys on the top. It is Customs House. Now any illegal contraband that is seized at the borders of this country, it gets sent to the basement of this very building. Now so they say, at the end of every year, they burn everything that they confiscate. Now during my time on this river, 8 years, I have never seen a puff of black smoke come from them chimneys. But what I can tell you is, folks, their Christmas parties, they are amazing, and they are still probably going on now. To our right, we have the warship. It's the HMS Belfast. It was built in the same shipyard as the ill-fated Titanic, the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Northern Ireland. It weighs in at 11,500 tons. Its main armament is 12 6-inch guns. They can fire a 100-weight shell, 14 land miles. The first time that vessel had fired its guns in anchor, it was during D-Day, and it is now currently moored here in London as a floating extension to the Imperial War Museum. You can go on board and explore all 9 decks. You can go from the engine room all the way up to the Captain's Bridge. It's also used as a docking and berthing station for when there are ships visiting London, just like the St Helena. It's alongside it now. We get to see naval ships, cruise liners, and even billionaires. They come up with their super yachts. They moor up alongside the Belfast while they're here visiting London. Over to our left we have the Tower of London. The Tower of London has been many things in its time. It's been a royal zoo, an observatory, a palace, a royal mint to make money, an armoury and a prison. most famously known as being a place of execution, and it's now home to the Crown Jewels. We do have the white writing just over there on the wall to the left, and it says entry to the Traitors' Gate. Now, if you was found committing treason against this country, you'd been rowed down from the Westminster Palace down into the Tower of London by a Thames waterman by a barge. You'd gone through Traitors' Gate over there, and then you would have suffered your punishment. You'd have had your head surgically removed with a large axe. You was famous, it didn't stop there either. You would then have your head dipped in tar and put on a spike at London Bridge to warn off any other future traitors. What we're going to do, folks, we're going to go through the bridge and then turn shortly after that, so you'll be able to get a lovely photo. So we do have to turn the boat around, and then we'll slowly, as we go off through the bridge, turn around. We do have a vessel that we do have to get out of the way of, it's behind us, so it is a restricted vessel and it can't manoeuvre very well, so we do have to get out of its way first. So we're taking it down just through the bridge now, and then slowly start to spin round after that, and then head inward bound towards Tower of Millennium. Now, Tower Bridge is the only bridge of its kind, being a part suspension, part bascule bridge. And what that means is these centre arches here, they do fully raise like a double-sided drawbridge to let taller ships come into the other port of London. And they can raise into their full upright position in less than 90 seconds. The Tower Bridge is also the only bridge to be registered as a ship, as it always needs a captain, first mate and engineer on board at all times. There's only one day a year for that bridge, it will not open. We've had lots of people guess Christmas and other special days throughout the year as well, but unfortunately they've all been wrong. It's the day of the London Marathon, as that bridge there, it does mark the halfway point where 40,000 runners, they run across that bridge every year for charity and other good causes. Now, if you own a tall-masted boat and require the bridge to be lifted for you, it is completely free of charge. All they require from you is you do give them 24 hours notice before you start your journey into London, and then they'll lift the bridge for you. Now, the best time I've heard to book a slot to have Tower Bridge lifted for your boat, it is on a Friday at 5 o'clock, rush hour. And then you can sail past through slowly, smiling and waving at people on the bridge, and you can look at all the mayhem and misery you have just caused. Now, once you all do have your photos, folks, at Tower Bridge, and I can ask you all to remain back to your seats until the boat is safely alongside Tower here. As we start to turn the boat, you might get a wash from us and other vessels passing us, so it may rock us about a little bit from side to side. So please remain seated until the boat is safely alongside.